Let's jump right into this explainer. We're going to look way past the simple magic of scanning a QR code and see exactly how the internal architecture of your device keeps your data perfectly secure. You know, it's so easy to take for granted what happens when we connect to a mobile network. But the underlying structure of the eUICC, the actual embedded universal integrated circuit card inside your phone, is just an absolutely fascinating piece of engineering.
In our last explainer, we meant the receptionist and the reservation systems that handle your initial request. But today, today we need to answer an even bigger question. Who is the covert team working entirely behind the scenes to actually install your eSIM? Because when you scan that code, there are dedicated, hidden components just waiting to flawlessly execute your command.
And this beautifully illustrates the big picture. This is the complete SGP.22 eUICC architecture, which is essentially the GSMA's global standard blueprint. We're going to explore this today like a physical, highly secured hotel building. Just taking in this layout, you can instantly tell it's infinitely more complex than just some simple microchip storing basic data.
And that's because the eUICC really isn't just an empty storage chip. It runs its own unique operating system that acts as ridiculously strict hotel management software. It enforces rigid rules and absolute isolation between every single guest. Inside that OS, you've got highly structured components ensuring no digital guest ever crosses paths with another without explicit, verified permission.
Focusing in on those large colored blocks on the left side of the blueprint, we can see exactly how this OS builds our private guest rooms. Notice how they're distinctly separated into a red block and a green block? That represents the fundamental way the eUICC handles your individual carrier profiles, keeping everything neatly and strictly partitioned.
So, every operator profile lives in an ISDP, which stands for Issuer Security Domain Profile. Think of this as a globally standardized, completely sealed room. It guarantees that even if your personal carrier profile and your work carrier profile are sitting on the exact same chip, they're totally invisible to one another. Your data stays perfectly, rigidly segregated.
Now, what's really interesting here is the dark gray MNO SD block sitting right at the top of each private room. This is a crucial piece of the security puzzle. It's what gives your specific network operator total confidence that their proprietary data is protected from literally any kind of outside tampering.
It really helps to think of the MNOSD, the Mobile Network Operator Security Domain, as a private safe located inside that guest room. It is exclusively locked and controlled by your specific mobile carrier. The eUICC provides the room, sure, but the carrier is the only one on Earth with the combination to that inner safe.
Alongside that safe, the room is packed with essentials. You've got a file system holding network configurations, kind of like the room's custom furniture. You'll also find NAAs, or Network Access Applications, which act as your actual digital key card to authenticate onto the carrier's cell towers. Plus, there are extra applets for added services, acting like supplementary locked drawers.
Now, these rooms exist in one of two distinct states. First is operator-enabled, meaning the guest is checked in and actively using the room. The second is operator-disabled. Disabled just means the room is perfectly prepared and fully furnished, but it's currently waiting empty. Think of this as when you toggle off a travel eSIM in your phone's settings. The profile is absolutely still there, but securely dormant.
Okay, stepping back out into the main hallway, we finally meet the staff member who actually manages all of these individual rooms. Right there in the middle section is the ISDR, holding the whole operation together. Sitting just outside the guest rooms is the ISDR, or Issuer Security Domain Root. This acts as the strict building manager with absolute, complete authority over the entire eUICC chip. This is the central command dictating exactly what happens to those rooms we just looked at.
So this manager essentially executes 4 rapid-fire jobs: installing new profiles, enabling active ones, disabling inactive ones, and permanently deleting old profiles when you, say, erase an eSIM. And the kicker? It only takes these orders over 3 highly restricted, distinct communication channels known as the ES10 interfaces.
Moving right below our building manager, we find the most heavily fortified room in the entire structure, the ECASD. Notice how it's completely physically separated from the guest rooms? Well, that is for a very, very good reason. The ECASD, or eUICC Controlling Authority Security Domain, is the hotel's central vault. It strictly safeguards the eUIC's own private keys and certificates. This is essentially the unforgeable digital passport that proves the chip's absolute, genuine identity to the rest of the world.
Because these vault credentials proved outside servers that this chip is a genuine, trusted piece of hardware, absolutely nothing gets installed without the eCAD-SD verifying identity first. Seriously, the outside reservation systems will flat out refuse to hand over a profile until this vault proves the hotel is legitimate.
Sitting right next to that vault is a very special variant of a familiar face. Positioned right in the thick of the internal communication pathways, we have the LPE.
Remember the local profile assistant, our digital receptionist from our last explainer? Well, the little E here stands for eUICC. That means this specific receptionist's desk is built directly into the hotel itself, rather than sitting outside in your phone's main operating system lobby.
This inside receptionist acts as the ultimate middleman. It connects securely to the building manager via a dedicated internal ESU link, all while smoothly handling outward calls to the external reservation systems. It talks to the SMDP Plus server over the ES9 Plus link and checks the SMDS message board over the ES11 link.
Let's pull back for a second and look at the pathways capping this entire architecture. Those essential communication lines at the top represent the master plan. They are the meticulous blueprint making this technology function flawlessly worldwide.
Every single connection line you see there has a specific, unchangeable job with absolutely zero overlaps. Whether it's the ES6 allowing an operator to talk directly to their profile, or the ES8 Plus allowing servers to securely bind a package. That rigid, uncompromising organization is exactly what makes this architecture incredibly secure across any device manufacturer.
Looking at this completed puzzle one last time, you can truly appreciate how incredibly structured this environment is. There is no ambiguity here. Every single component knows exactly what its job is and exactly who it is allowed to speak to.
Ultimately, what you really need to take away from this is that your eUICC is truly a fully managed, heavily fortified building. It's got private ISDP rooms, a dedicated ISDR building manager, and an impenetrable eCASD central vault, all coordinating flawlessly through clearly defined interfaces.
We've seen that the building itself is an absolute fortress, but that leaves us with a fascinating question for next time. If this hotel is locked down this tight, how does a digital profile actually travel completely across the world to safely land sealed inside your ISDP? Well, we'll explore that incredibly secure journey next time.